Mr. Harry, and hello all of my friends. On this occasion, I will present a research proposal that I have made. But for this video, I will describe chapter 1 and chapter 2 of my proposal. The two chapters are chapter 1, which is the introduction, and then the chapter 2, which contain a review of literature that I review and found as a supporting theory in my proposal. All right, without any further ado, I will start by stating the title or topic of my research. The title is The Influence of Offline and Online-Based Learning on Student Speaking Anxiety Levels. Study of English Education Students for 2020 and 2021 class, Ganesha University of Education. The reason why I use this title or topic is also many researchers have researched this two variable that I use, namely offline and online based learning, and then speaking anxiety itself. However, no one has combined these two interesting topic as a research to find the effect of one variable with another variable. And also, online learning models have just started to be widely used in Indonesia. And I, as a writer or the researcher, are curious whether these two learning models have an influence on student speaking anxiety levels. So, all right, without any further ado, let's start for the presentation of my of two chapter proposal. Uh, as I said before, the content in this video will be just two chapters. Chapter 1, which is the introduction, and then the chapter 2 is the literature review. In the chapter 1, I will explain the research background, the research problems, the research objectives, and then the research significance of my proposal or my research. So the first one, let's talk about the research background. So anxiety is a case that many teachers, particularly those who teach foreign language subjects such as English, Japanese, Mandarin, and so on, recognize that one of the factors that influence the efficacy of foreign language learning is the foreign language students' anxiety. It's said by Rokia Pai and Misiang in 2012. For example, English is one of the foreign language studied in Indonesia. Hence, the students are known as EFL students or English foreign language students. Foreign language learners has the variety of anxiety. One of them is speaking anxiety as a part of communication apprehension. Communication apprehension stated by Hurwitz et al. Is a type of anxiety that arises from a student's inability to adequately articulate their thought, develop the communication with others, and then ensure that they grasp what the speaker has stated. The anxiety that a foreign language student has an impact on their degree of accomplishment and language competence is set by Muna et al. Because speaking anxiety is speaking is the most important component of learning a language. The focus of this research will be on speaking anxiety. It will be pointless if a student just can write, just can listen and read, but not the outcome, which is state which is the state that cannot perform early. Fear of mispronunciation or poor grammar may be enough to exacerbate your anxiety about having to to talk like face to face. In online learning, which is the new the new best learning or learning process that lately widely used in Indonesia. In online learning, the students will have limitation to meet each other and the teacher because the learning process will use a variety of technology and students can meet just by virtually. This study will focus on the batches of students who have gone through this two learning process, which batch 2020 and 2021 at Ganesha University, majoring in foreign language with English education study programs, being the two batches that have gone through this two learning process. Like this policy has been in place since the beginning. So in this proposal also has a formulation of the problem that is focus of this research proposal. The problem formulation in this study is the first one is an offline based learning influence the student speaking anxiety levels, and then the second one is online based learning influence the student speaking anxiety levels, and then the last one is do offline and online based learning jointly influence the level of anxiety of students. And then for the next one is about the research objective in my proposal. For the objective is the first one is to determine the level of students speaking anxiety in English and offline learning process. The second one to determine the level of students speaking anxiety in English in online learning process. And then the last one is to see how the offline and online based learning can affect the level of students speaking anxiety in the process of the learning English. And then for the research significances of my research is understanding the influence of offline and online based learning in students speaking anxiety levels and utilize the background information of the topic. And then now that's the presentation related to chapter 1 of the research proposal I made. Next is the latest presentation of literature review, which is a collection of theories related to my research topic, and also a review of previous research that has similarities with my research. For the first discussion is to follow the theoretical review. There are several points that can support the theory from my research. In theoretical review, we have four topic or 4 point. The first one is the nature of speaking. Speaking entails two-way communication between two or more persons. Speaking is one of the linguistic abilities that is utilized for communication in everyday life. It's stated by Tridiranti 2018 and Chani 2020 state that speaking is defined as a process of interaction between two or more individuals in which they generate and share ideas through verbal and non-verbal signals in a variety of circumstances. Speaking according to Hornby in 1995 in page 37 state that speaking is the talent on which pupils will be judged the most in their real life settings. And then the second one is anxiety. Anxiety, according to the Carlson in Bacchus 1997, stated that in a feeling is a feeling of dread or impending doom that is accompanied by physical symptoms such as racing heart, sweaty hands, and the tightness of the chest. One of the emotional factor is language mastery is anxiety. It refers to a physiological phenomenon in which the impact of the circumstance that has a positive impact on human body response. Because my proposal is talk about the anxiety or speaking anxiety, of course, we have the theory for Horowitz et al. In 1986, which is the kind of the anxiety. The first one is the communication apprehension that I have experienced before, and then the second one is a fear of negative evaluation. Because of one fear of negative evaluation as because of one's answer or statement regarding their peers' abilities, one's fear of unfavorable assessment arose. As a result, foreign language students should make a favorable impression on others. Fear of negative judgment can arise in any social circumstance, such as during job interview, a foreign language lesson, or participation in competition. And then the third one, the kinds of anxieties that by Horowitz is test anxiety. The obstacle faced by foreign language learning is not only about conveying or speaking fluently to the other people, but also comprehend the content of the message that has been delivered by the speaker and also using grammar in speaking. So now let's move to the third point, the anxiety, speaking anxiety. Speaking anxiety is a common reason for students' failure to realize their full potential in English. Excessive speaking anxiety among pupils will sabotage the learning process. According to the Oxford 1999 in page 66, states that language learners' success in harmed by anxiety in two ways: indirectly via anxious and trepidation, and then directly by reduced improvement and explicit rejection of the language. And then the last point of my theoretical review in my proposal is offline and online based learning. Offline based learning, often known as a traditional learning technique, is a learning system in which teachers and students in the learning process utilize or virtually use learning that is done offline. This strategy is regarded successful in carrying out the learning process since it has been used for a long time. Because the use of learning is so basic and straightforward, many teachers prefer to employ this style of instruction. The use of traditional learning models admittedly still inextricably links to learning implementation, because this is the simple learning models for a teacher to execute. This statement is stated by Fauzan and Arifin in 2017. The evolution of learning methods has also had influence over times. There is a new invention, which is the use of current technical breakthrough to create online learning technique. Online learning is also known as e-learning or electronic learning, and it simply refers to learning that take place via the use of several electronic devices. Offline learning may be blended with electronic learning to make learning more student-centered and student more engaged, autonomous in the learning or e-learning, or it can called as hybrid learning. This strategy is regarded successful in carrying out the learning process. Now we move to the empirical review. So in empirical review, I have three the previous researchers that have the similar topic with mine. The first one is student speaking anxiety in EVL classroom by Ashifa et al. In 2019. So the Horwitz et al. 1986 developed the FLCAS, or the Foreign Language Classroom Anxiety Scale, as a reference for her research into speaking anxiety. She stressed or emphasized the degree of nervousness that students have before speaking, as well as the elements that are commonly encountered and how they overcome them. As a result, the method used is qualitative, and then the questionnaire are used to gather the necessary data. And then the second one is from Sari, day 2017. The title is Speaking Anxiety as a Factor in Studying EFL. In her research, she wants to look into the sources of international student speaking anxiety by employing a quantitative approach to the presentation of the information gathered. The research was conducted using the same questionnaire, the FLCAS, also by Horwitz et al. 1986 as a reference. And then according to the finding of this study is communication apprehension concern cause 71% of students speaking anxiety, followed by rate of negative evaluation, 53%, and then the test anxiety is 48%. And then the last one is Gayatri Dianti, 2018. The title is The Correlation Between Speaking Anxiety, Self-Confidence, and Speaking Achievement of Undergraduate EFL Student of private university in Palembang. There is no evidence of a link between speaking anxiety and speaking ability or speaking achievement. This indicates that the children with speaking anxiety might still be able to learn to talk. while those with a great self-confidence will have an easier time to learning to speak. Using a quantitative method, the author implemented a correlation design for this variable. So the topic of speaking anxiety has always been an interesting topic to be associated with other variables that arise related to the development of the times. Online learning is indeed a new thing in the world of education, but for Indonesia itself, online learning has only been effectively used in the last few years. Me, as the authors, want to find out the effect of online and offline based learning on speaking anxiety in students who experience both learning model. However, many people still have anxiety about speaking both in their own language and in a foreign language. Okay, that's all about my explanation of my two chapter in my proposal. So if there is a mistake, then I apologize. Thank you for your attention and have a good day.